At Mobile World Congress in Barcelona 3 years ago, things looked very different. Nokia, the Finnish handset maker, had a commanding share of the mobile phone market, and traditional handset makers from the US and Asia were jostling for position. Although Nokia is still the biggest maker of handsets in the world, its market share has fallen sharply. In the last quarter, it fell from 36% to about 29%.
And this is one of the reasons why. It's one of the many handsets that operate on Google's Android operating platform. Now, it's great news for consumers that they have lots of choice on Android, but the flip side of that is that for operators there will be more and more devices out there that look very similar, and that in turn could put pressure on margins.
The head of Nokia, Stephen Elop, made headlines recently when he wrote that the company needed radical change. In an effort to claw back market share, the Finnish handset maker has teamed up with Microsoft. When asked why he chose not to join the Android family, he suggested that to do so would probably condemn Nokia to being just another face in the crowd. Others are hoping to stand out from the crowd by coming up with eye-catching features. Sony Ericsson hopes its Xperia Play, a hybrid phone and PlayStation console, will help it make inroads into the US market.
No, I think there is a number of things that you have to differentiate. Sort of a plain vanilla Android phone will force you into commoditization, and we have decided to, of course, differentiate with the convergence of Sony entertainment products like this one. We also decided to have the most beautiful phone by investing a lot in design. We also invest a lot in our brand. Latest example is Super Bowl last weekend, where we had advertising for this phone. So I think brand building will be very important. So I think that commoditization, you have to be aware it can happen, and you have to make sure that you differentiate enough to be able to make that extra margin points that you need to stick out.
Taiwan's HTC, another successful Android user, is working on services such as online libraries and social networks. This year sees it bring out a Facebook phone.
And they just press one key and they can easily share or write whatever photos or web contents or whatever music they are listening, they want to share with friends. Hey, this is great music, and then one button just go. You know, it's for a lot of heavy social networking Facebook user, that's the most deeply integrated, optimized experience.
Critics might say that application-based phones are something of a gimmick, but growth remains strong. The Android market last year expanded by nearly 900%. One thing is certain, the stakes are high.
I think the worst case scenario is a replication of what happened in the PC market, and that's the value going to a software platform, one large dominant player. In the PCs, we saw that happen with Microsoft. Most of the value from the industry go there and not be evenly distributed with other players. So the worst case scenario is that it's replicated within the mobile industry, and lots of the value then goes to, say, Google, and we see fewer handset manufacturers in play, and then there's less choice for the consumers.
At the moment, margins are holding up, but what you've got to remember is that Google is constantly coming out with new versions of its Android operating system, and that's forcing handset makers to keep coming out with new versions of their handsets. At the moment, they're innovating, but it seems likely that over the longer term, margins will be squeezed. Mary Watkins, Financial Times, Barcelona.